I'll ask my friend to introduce sir for the session, please.
Welcome back everyone for the session number 5, Re-assessment in Income Tax. So the faculty for the day is CA Mehul Thakkar sir. He is a fellow member of ICAI. He is a rank holder. He has vast working experience of 25 plus years as a practicing chartered accountant. Being an expert in the field of direct tax, he has hands-on experience in providing advisory services, handling assessment, reassessment, assessment in search cases and first appeal. He also has an experience in providing advisory services on the matters pertaining to FEMA and international taxation. He has trained more than 28,000 students pursuing CA and CMA final. He has also trained more than 5,000 tax professionals in faceless assessments. So I would like to request sir to please start with the session. First of all, Chetan bhai, please present sir with the memento.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. હવે કંઈક અવાજ આવે બધાનો. મારી પરિસ્થિતિ એવી છે અત્યારે, બધાને ગુજરાતી સમજણ પડે છે ને, કે કેપિટલ માર્કેટ અપ્સ એન્ડ ડાઉન્સ, એ અપ્સ એન્ડ ડાઉનમાં મને મૂકી દેવામાં આવે છે વચ્ચે કે તમારે ઇન્કમ ટેક્સ શીખવાડવાનું છે આ લોકોને, which is going to be a big challenge, and that too after lunch. And the second challenge is time, because I have got one more session at CA Association at 4:30. Anyhow, I will not take much time because we got next panel discussion and other topics on capital market. But this is a part of our ICAI CP structure decision, and that's why I'm here. Topic for which I have been invited is reassessment proceedings. And we all are aware, Finance Act 2024 had again substituted this provision of 148 proceedings, entire 147 to 152. They brought lots of changes which are very vital to understand. Another objective, always whenever I conduct session, my intention is that how far the practitioners at ground level, they can effectively represent the rights of the taxpayer while responding these notices. That is always my intention. So far as court decisions are concerned, judgments are concerned, they are always available at any stage. It can be available at second stage or even at tribunal stage or High Court or Supreme Court. Therefore, my always focus is as a practitioner to safeguard the interest of our client within the four corners of the provision. We should represent our client perfectly. And for that, we should know what the law is. And secondly, I always discuss some practical that what is being done from my office for responding these kind of notices. So that I demonstrate before the members so that members can take better advantage of that. So with this, I'll try that I need to, I think, wind up around 50 minutes. I'll try that we'll take up 148A proceedings. That is very important. That we'll take up. We'll first take an understanding of new provisions. Then we'll discuss one practical proceedings, that how to respond 148A notices. One instance we'll take it up. And then I'll give you very important formula, because you are all interested in capital market, or I do not know, you are interested in CP number, or I do not know. But definitely will be interested in kind of very important formula given by Lord Krishna, that I'll take 5 minutes for that, and then I'll end up my session. So let us start with Finance Act 2024. Section 147 onwards. As such, I have discussed and informed all of you that Finance Act 2024 already brought lots of amendment. And my presentation is divided into 6 parts, but we are not going to touch. We are going to touch first part, which is very common for all of us. We'll discuss how income escaping assessment under 147 will be carried out for those cases where section 135 capital A is not applicable. 135 is kind of, you can say, information with the department, but that information is a verified information. For that, there is a separate procedure. I will brief you at the end. But majority cases, they have to follow flow number 1. Let us look at that first point. If assessing officer would like to invoke 147 proceedings, then prerequisite is, on the part of assessing officer, prerequisite is he must have information which suggests that income chargeable to tax had escaped assessment in the case of SSC. In bracket, I have given the reference of particular section number. What I did it, all sections I put it in a flow so that you can understand how process will commence. So you can just refer the bracket. I am not highlighting bracket on that part. So first of all, before commencing this proceeding, the assessing officer must have information which suggests that income chargeable tax has escaped assessment in the hands of SSC. Now a question may arise, what is the meaning of that term, income chargeable to tax which had escaped assessment? What is the meaning of that term? Now that term has been defined under section 148(3). So subsection 3 of 148 defines the term meaning of information which suggests that income chargeable tax had escaped assessment. It contains now 6 clauses. So remember, assessing officer would like to invoke 147, that is reassessment proceeding. He has to establish that information falls in any one or more of these categories. That means reopening is not at the discretion of the assessing officer. It has to fall, that information has to fall in at least one of the categories out of these 6. Let us take it number 1. Number 1 says that he has an information in case of SSC for the relevant assessment year in accordance with risk management strategy formulated by board from time to time. That means you must have information, and that information, read very important wordings, that information is in accordance with risk management strategy formulated by board. Therefore, that is very, very important in terms of challenging jurisdiction of the assessing officer. If that information is not in accordance with risk management strategy, if we establish that, then entire proceeding will come to an end. Therefore, this is very important word, that it should be in accordance with risk management strategy formulated by board from time to time. Every year, you can check it out, every year they declare risk management strategy. In 2020, 21, 22, initially it was very difficult for them, but then they learned that risk management strategy, what they are doing internally, that they are now publishing. So that need to be checked, that whether your case falls under that or not. Or alternative number 2, there is an audit objection. Audit objection to which effect? To the effect that assessment in case of SSC for relevant year has not been made in accordance with the provision of the Act. Then also AO can carry out 147 proceedings. But remember, this case will come into picture when first assessment has already been done under 143 or under 147. And there is an audit objection which says that assessment has not been carried out in accordance with the provision of the Act. Only in that event, reopening can be possible. Third is all about section 9090A information, that is information obtained under double taxation avoidance agreement, or we can say avoidance for double taxation, ADT agreements. Fourth is an information emanating under section 135A, for which separate procedure is prescribed under the law. That I will brief you at the end. Fifth is very important. Any information which requires action in consequence of an order of tribunal or a court. What fifth says? An information which requires action in consequence of order of a tribunal or court. What can be the example for that? Let us understand. Let us take it a case of assessment year 2021, or let us take it assessment year 21-22, which has been reopened, and addition took place under section 68 for assessment year 21-22. You've referred a matter before first appeal, and first appeal, CIT appeal, deleted addition. Sorry, CIT appeal confirm addition. Now you went to tribunal. In tribunal, nowadays hearings are very fast. If you can cross over the sea of CIT appeal, you can immediately approach tribunal, because tribunal is as such, you file today and hearing is next month, because CIT appeals are not disposing appeals for since last 5 years. Now in tribunal, you argued that there is an addition under section 68 for assessment at 21-22, but the fact is that credit or the loan I have taken is not pertaining to 21-22, but it is pertaining to assessment year 2021. Now tribunal found that yes, it is for assessment year 2021, therefore tribunal deleted addition, because credit has not entered during the year. Therefore section 68 cannot be applied. Section 68 is if credit is found during that particular previous year, only then 68 can be invoked. So tribunal finding is this is not for AY 21-22, but it is for which AY? Assessment year 2021. If that is the finding, then this finding requires action to reopen case of which AY? AY 2021. So in that context, they have said that they have got an information which requires action in consequence of order of tribunal or a court. And last is survey. Except one survey, that is TDS survey. Any information which is emanating from survey, but other than subsection 2A survey, that is other than TDS survey, and they have notified the date on or after first day of September 2024, because law has been substituted with effect from what? 1st September. So these are the 6 areas AO has to establish that your case falls in any one of these. Only then assessing office has a right to invoke 148A proceedings. So now what AO will do? First, we understood he must have an information. Second, we understood meaning of information. Third, now what AO will do? AO will issue a show cause notice. He will issue a show cause notice that why section 148 shall not be issued in your case. And for that, he gives you an opportunity of being heard under which section? 148A subsection 1. So what 148A subsection 1 says? AO shall provide an opportunity of being heard to the SSC by serving upon him a notice to show cause as to why notice under 148 should not be issued on the basis of information which suggests that income chargeable tax had escaped assessment for the SSC for a relevant assessment year. Therefore, AO will now issue a notice under which section? 148A subsection 1. Earlier it was 148AB. This is what now? 148A subsection 1. Now, very important paragraph they have written here, that whenever this notice is being given, then top of the screen, you will find such notice shall be accompanied by the information which suggests that income chargeable tax had escaped assessment. In short, this notice must contain information. It should have information appended to this notice. Honestly speaking, that is not sufficient. If we read Supreme Court Ashish Agarwal on interpretation of 148A, Supreme Court made it very clear that you should also give underlying documents, supporting documents for this information. Mere information is not sufficient. Like in your case, they have said that we have got an information about bogus purchase, that you have made a bogus purchase. But that is not sufficient. Of they have given amount also. Amount you have purchased from XYZ, and this is the 1 crore bogus purchase. But that is not sufficient. How it is bogus? Some underlying document like CGST informed to income tax department, or income tax department carried out raid at some places, and he admitted that I am just a fictitious entity, I have really not done any business. These kind of underlying document or supporting documents is a precondition. That what Supreme Court highlighted that. Despite this, they have written the law, and in this law, what they have written? Only information shall be made available. If you read even 2022 CBDT circular, in that also they have acknowledged this fact that whenever officer issue notice under 148A, he must append underlying documents, that on what basis this information has been derived. But they are still not providing, and law is also not properly drafted. I am just guiding you what are the possible litigations. Now, very interestingly, under this law, 1st September 24, there is very interesting changes. There is a time limit for issuing notice under 148A. I repeat, there is a time limit for 148A, and that is given under section 149 subsection 2. I'll come to that later stage. We'll understand flow. The flow is AO must have information. Information is out of any of the 6 verified area. Then what he will do? He will give you a show cause. He will give us a show cause that why notice under 148 shall not be issued. An opportunity of being heard is given. No time limit is given, how many days, minimum days, maximum, nothing. It is up to the discretion of AO. Only requirement is, along with this notice, information should accompany. Let us go further, subsection 2. Subsection 2 says, on receipt of this notice, SSC, they have clearly written the word, may furnish his reply within such period as may be specified in the notice. Therefore, period will be decided by the AO, and they know it is up to us whether we would like to respond to this notice or not. It is like CA examination, May and November. Now we have got 3 attempts. That's why they have written the word may. SSC may. And the May exam, November, it is his choice. It is his choice whether he would like to reply this notice or not. That is 148A subsection 2. Now, SSC officer has got information and our reply. With this together, what he will do? He will decide. He will decide on the basis of material available on record, including the reply of the SSC, whether it is a fit case to issue a notice under 148 or not. And this order should be passed with the prior approval of specified authority. This is written under section 148A subsection 3. So after analyzing our reply, after considering our reply, he will pass an order under 148A3. In erstwhile provision, it was 148A-D. Notice was under clause B and order was under clause D, Bombay and Delhi. And now it is subsection 1 and subsection 3. Therefore, we can say perimetry of this provision is almost similar, except some wordings are changed. Now what will happen? Thereafter, you will receive notice under 148. I'll come to specified authority, who are the specified authority. Thereafter, he will issue a notice under 148. This notice shall be, mind the words, I almost tried to put it direct in a flow. Notice shall be issued. Remember, we have a distinction between issue of notice and service of notice. That distinction now has been lost under this substituted law. They have not used the word service of notice. They have used the word issue of notice for 148 as well. Even time limit for issue of notice, that the wordings they have used it. So that is to be kept in mind. So now, assessing officer shall issue notice to the taxpayer requiring him to file return. Now read minutely, it says within such period as may be specified in the notice. Earlier law says it should be 3 months. But now they said it is up to the again discretion of AO. Within the period which AO decide, but that period should not exceed 3 months from the end of the month in which such notice is issued. In short, upper time limit is given how many months? 3 months. But we should not go up to 3 months. AO will prescribe the notice. He will say you file return within 30 days. Then we have to file within how many days? 30 days. If AO will prescribe 15 days, it is 15 days. But AO cannot prescribe more than 3 months. That is what the law is. Next, remember, whenever this notice is being given, this notice must accompany the order passed under 148A3. That why your case is under 148, so that order has to be given to you. Now, we already seen these orders shall be passed with the prior approval of whom? Specified authority. Still, law does not write that this order along with approval shall be made available to the taxpayer. Therefore, every time this is a challenge. They always give only order. They will not give the copy of approval. Whether a higher authority has really applied mind to these facts, whether it is a fit case really for the reopening, that approval copy they are not giving it. That is the limitation. And these notice under 148 shall be issued within the prescribed time under 149 subsection 2. We will see that. So now, what happened? Information has been analyzed, your reply has been considered, your case has been selected, and you have been given notice under which section? 148. So what is the next course of action? Next course of action is we have to file the return. So what is the duty of the taxpayer? On receipt of notice under 148, appropriate course of action is to file the return. And law says, once this return is filed, you read the bracket, such return will have same effect as if it is required to be filed under which section? 139. So this return will be as if under section 139. So many of your clients would have received notices pertaining to bogus donation. And many of the clients were agreeing that we would like to pay tax. So you can do this because you will receive a notice under 148 that you are required to file return again. When you are filing return again, they said this return will have similar impact under which section? 139. So whenever we file return under 139, we always pay what? Self-assessment tax. So there is a very old CBT circular that whenever you file return under 148, at that time also you can make payment of self-assessment tax together with interest. Clear? So this return can be filed, and at that time it is your choice whether you would like to accept what AO had unearthed in your case, that you can accept it while filing the return. Now there is one important clause, 148 subsection 2 proviso. Proviso says, if return which is required to be furnished by you under 148(1), but you fail to furnish within the time given by AO, then that return, last line is very important, is not deemed to be a return under 139. There is a reason behind this proviso. But if you file belated, then there is no concept of here belated return. You have to file 140 return within the time. If you are late, means that return is not a valid return. It is clearly written here. But instead of, they have used the technical jargon, it is not deemed to be written under 139. Then under which section then? Somebody can argue that if it is not under 139, under which section? But the idea is this is not a proper return. What is the reason behind this? If it is treated as not under 139, moment it is treated as not under 139, AO is now under not an obligation to issue notice under 143(2). Scrutiny notice is compulsory. Whenever you would like to scrutinize your case further after filing of your return, then he has to give which notice? Scrutiny notice. Scrutiny notice can be required to be issued only when you have filed return under which section? 139. But your return is not under 139. Therefore, AO will be exempted from issue of notice under 142. It is the only objective. It is the only objective. There are no other objective. So now you have filed the return. Return has to be filed within the time. What will happen thereafter? After filing return, AO may proceed either under section 143(1) or under section 143 or under section 144. Try to understand this return is under which section? 139. So any return we file under 139, what is the next action? Processing. Like I have given the example of bogus donation. You admitted in the return. You have paid tax. Then AO has nothing to do further. He should simply issue what? Intimation. Still they are not doing it practically. Ideally he has to issue what? Intimation that your return is perfect. Now I will invoke penalty proceeding. That's all. Because this is the income you have reported during the course of income escapement proceeding. Therefore, you are liable for penalty under section 270. That's simple, like example for bogus donation. So AO can do 143(1), or alternatively, if he is not happy with your return because you have not disclosed that income for which case has been reopened, then he will select your case for what? Scrutiny. And to select the case for scrutiny, he has to issue notice first of all under 143(2), provided you have filed the return within the time. If you have not filed return within the time, then it is not a return. If it is not a return, then straight away he can conduct the assessment proceeding by serving you 142(1). Clear? And if you do not cooperate throughout the proceedings, then who will operate? AO will operate. If you do not cooperate, then AO will operate under which section? 144. So this is the normal procedure. Now there is an explanation to section 147, which is very important. On explanation, there are lots of dispute which we will find again in future. This explanation to 147 says that if during the course of proceeding under section 147, if any other income which comes to the notice of AO and which had escaped assessment, then same can also be added or included while passing the order. Last line is very important. Irrespective of the fact that provision of section 148A have not been complied with. That means your case has been reopened for X purpose, for X income, and scrutiny is going on, and during the course of reassessment proceeding, AO finds that Y income has also escaped, then that can also be included while passing order under 147. And at that time, you cannot argue that this point was not taken up under 148A proceedings. That argument is not available because they have clearly written, irrespective of the fact that the provision of section 148A have been complied with that or not. Now, honestly speaking, law is very strict. This is what my opinion may differ, but I will give you certain citation as well. Nowadays, what assessing officers are doing it, we file return, then they will issue notice under 143(2). Mostly they said, we want clarification on certain points, refer annexure. Annexure is 99% blank, no points are mentioned, this is the fact. After that, we will receive which notice? 142(1). Let us take it a businessman's case. We are right now handling many. In that, one of the cases, like let us take it bogus donation. He had given a donation, it's a real case, of 10 lakh rupee. Is a businessman, audit case. Now, case has been reopened only for 10 lakh ideally. We filed the return, we received 142(1). In 142(1), he had mentioned 20 points, like detailed scrutiny. You give TDS and income reconciliation, you give expenditure exceeding this much, you give debtors, creditors, unsecured loan, loans and advances, loans to related parties. दुनिया भरनी बत्तीस विगतो मांगे छे. Now, is it permissible? Is it the intention of 147? You see, law is very clear. He can look into any other income, see the wordings. Which are the wordings? I am highlighting those again, and I'll give you an example for that, so that you can better appreciate. What are the wordings? That information, any other income which comes to the notice of the assessing officer. It comes to the notice of the assessing officer is one thing, and I am doing fishing inquiry of 20 points and that is not permissible. It should come to the notice of you. I'll give an example, you can better appreciate that. Let us take it a case, example, that your case is a subject matter of 143(3). Already scrutiny had happened. During scrutiny, various detailed scrutiny had happened. In that, one of the point for consideration was payment to related party. And you have made payment to your Bania was employed. બરાબર છે, તમારો બહેનનો દીકરો તમે એમ્પ્લોય કર્યો છે બિઝનેસમાં. He was employed in your business and you have made payment to your relative. And that is a salary payment. By qualification, he is મને બધું આવડે MBA. By qualification, he is MBA. And he has been paid salary of 7,20,000, 60,000 per month. And he cleared from Gujarat University. Let us take it MBA from some of the school of management under Gujarat University. Now, scrutiny had been done on various points, including this point. In audit report also you mention he is your relative, payment is 7,20,000. 48(2) inquiry done by you. AO inquired, AO called for evidences that whether he is really MBA or not, that you submitted. AO also said that you prove that it is the salary you have paid is reasonable, it is not beyond the market rate. That also you establish by some documentary evidences. Now, this is on record and scrutiny is done. No addition was done under 40A2. Clear? Now, your case is a bogus donation and 148A proceeding happened and you are receiving 148 and scrutiny is going on under 147. Now, he is demanding 20 points, which is not fair, because he said that I want to see your relative salary and these and that. Now, you bring his erstwhile experience certificate, because it is only you are producing MBA certificate, but he claims that his experience prior to joining your organization, he served 3 years back. I want to see that experience certificate. I want to see passbook of that period. Now, second time you are passing through these processes, extended processes. Is it permissible? Answer is no. How it comes to the notice, I will give you an example. Let us take it. Nowadays, it is faceless. Your 148 is going on for bogus donation. Assessing officer is sitting in his cabin. He has got earlier record. It is also available online now. The 143 record is available with the assessing officer. He was just going through the record because he had already given notice under this section and is waiting for a reply to prompt on the screen. Today is the hearing and he is just passing time because now nobody is entering their cabin because of faceless. Value is completely zero practically because nobody says sir, sir, sir. So he is sitting and he was referring your earlier proceedings. Your payment is made to your relative and he had done MBA. He was quite okay and he was just going through the past proceedings. And then he was sitting peacefully waiting for your reply to prompt on due date. And he had picked up newspaper. And he is in Gujarat. And let us take it, your relative has passed from Gujarat University. Now he is going through the newspaper. There is one big advertisement appearing of Gujarat University. Beware, following mark sheets are not the mark sheet issued by the Gujarat University. They are fake mark sheet and there is a seal of registrar in the newspaper. Now he has a curiosity. Oh, wonderful. This is wonderful information. And now he is trying to see your erstwhile record where you have given copy of MBA mark sheet and certificate. And it is also from which university? Gujarat University. He is trying to match number, whether number matches in this big advertisement. And yes, it matches. Then we can say information is coming to his notice. I hope you are getting. For bringing to notice, Punjab and Haryana High Court, Vipan Khanna says, if you want to note down, Vipan Khanna 2002 citation is there, Punjab and Haryana High Court, it says for bringing to notice, fishing inquiry under 147 is not possible. Because unnecessarily they are deviating attention. They are enlarging their scope beyond the point. So this is my view, but just I am sharing that what are the terminology employed under the law and what is the judgment on that. Now what will happen? You respond to these notices and then you will pass the order. He will pass the order within what time? Time limit is given under section 153 subsection 2 and time limit is 12 months from the end of the month in which notice under 148, here it is written, is served. Here it is written not issued, it is written what? Served. So let us take it that notice is dated 31st March 24. But it was served to you midnight, that is 1st April 2024. Then AO will have how much time? End of this financial year and then 12 months. So practically AO will have a time of up to 31st March 2026 for passing the order. So that is to be kept in mind. So this is the flow of conducting proceedings under 147. Let me brief you with time limit. I have said that this is very interesting. That we have a time limit for issue of notice under which section? 148A. Now this time limit is very important. Up to 3 years from the end of relevant assessment year, notice can be issued irrespective of the amount of income escape. So up to 3 years, whatever be the amount of income escape, he can reopen your case. But now read carefully. Beyond 3 years, up to 5 years. Earlier it was how many years? 10 years. Now they have reduced to how many years? 5 years. So beyond 3 years, but not more than 5 years, notice can be issued only if, see the terminology, only if income which is escaped as per the information with the assessing officer amounts to or is likely to amount to 50 lakh rupee or more. This is going to create a lots of challenge, and it is already happening. More particularly information which are coming from bankers, because they are also outsourced to the people like us, and the data is voluminous. And there are n number of chances of wrong data entry or improper because of joint account also. Many cases reach to High Court. Bank had suited information that cash deposit is 60 lakh rupee, and now they will reopen your case because more than 50 lakh, and law is very clear. As per information available with the AO. AO says, I got an information of 60 lakh. You got my point. Therefore, he will invoke jurisdiction beyond 3 years. Now, a challenge would come. You represent that this is not 60 lakh. You see my passbook, it is only 35 lakh. And 25 lakh is in a joint account. It is my husband's account, which is duly reflected in his return. So, this is not 25 lakh pertains to me. It is how many lakhs? 35 lakhs. Now, a question may arise, will AO continue jurisdiction beyond 3 years? When it is finally established, it is within 50 lakh. And within 50 lakh, it is up to 3 years. So, these are going to be a big challenge. Because bank would not understand. Sometimes bank repeat the information. Like we have got one case from Dubai. He was earlier at Jamnagar. He had withdrawn cash for buying some property in Gandhinagar. He had withdrawn X amount from his account, which has been transferred from Dubai. But bank reflected 5 times. An amount was around 60 lakh. The bank reflected 60 lakh into 5 times withdrawal. Now, this is a big challenge. Because AO will not, even if we give bank statement, we will submit it. Any bank has returned 60 into 5. How can bank be wrong? But nowadays banks are wrong, because banks have given this work, outsource work. Outsource work, it's very voluminous work. This kind of error may happen. So, this is going to be a big challenge, because AO they will argue our information is of 60 lakh, therefore our jurisdiction is valid. Though at the later end, at the end of the 148A proceeding, it is coming to 35 lakh, then okay, proceeding will continue for 35 lakh, because our jurisdiction is correct. Because we have to see 5 years. Is it correct? Let us see. This is notice under which section? 148, any time limit. Erstwhile law, there was no time limit for issuing notice under 148A. Now, next, we have already seen that order shall be passed with the prior approval of specified authority under section 151. So, who is the specified authority? So, in erstwhile law, we have got two bifurcation, up to 3 years and beyond 3 years. Now, see, law has been modified completely, and it says specified authority for the purpose of this section shall be additional commissioner or additional director or joint commissioner or joint director, as the case may be. That's all, because commissioners are nowadays not interested in giving this approval, because this approval is always a subject matter of challenge. And whenever we challenge this approval, it is given by whom? Commissioner. So, it is very difficult to write in our submission that he has not applied his mind. So, being a commissioner, he is not applied mind, therefore, we use sophisticated word that this approval is a mechanical approval. Which approval? Ultimately, how it becomes mechanical? Without application of mind. But now they have relieved commissioners and the PCIT and principal chief commissioner from giving approval of this. They have simply given to either additional commissioner, additional director, or joint commissioner, joint director, regardless of the period involved, whether it is within 3 years or beyond 3 years. Now, this is very important. What is the time limit for issue of notice under 148? that is given under subsection 1, 149 subsection 1. This we need to be careful while reading it. Up to 3 years and 3 months. So now notice under 148 will be issued within what time? 3 years and 3 months. Because 148A may be issued on the last day of 3 years. Let us take it assessment year 21-22. So when 3 years will end? On 31st March 2025. So 148A he will issue on 31st March itself. Thereafter he will call for your reply, he will analyze your reply. It will take some time to decide whether it is a fit case for issue of notice under 148 or not. And that's why they have decided that let AO to be given how many months? 3 months. That means 148A proceedings may go up to how many months? 3 months. Because he will linger it, because he will be at ease. He will definitely take a break after 31st March. Otherwise, they will not be in a position to claim break of income tax department. So here it is time limit is how many months? 3 years and 3 months for whatever may be the amount of income escaped. Now read beyond 3 years and 3 months, but up to 5 years and 3 months. Now conditions are different. For 148 capital A, conditions were very simple. If information available suggests that income escaped is exceeding or likely to exceed what? 50 lakh rupee. But here for issuing notice under 148, conditions are different. Be careful. These are the conditions. Condition says notice under 148 can be issued beyond 3 years and 3 months up to 5 years and 3 months. First word is very important. AO is in his possession. What the language used is? He is in his possession of 3 things. What are the 3 things? Evidence, documents or accounts. Which are the 3 words? Accounts, documents or evidence. So this is a precondition. If he would like to issue notice under 148, then AO must have, they have not used the word information now. They use the word what? Accounts, document and evidence. Information is not a document unless it is coming from the bank in the form of document. You are just printing information on document, that doesn't make it is a document. It is an information. Language is different. It is a document. When document means hard copy, like let us take it, you have purchased a property and he claims that there is an information that you have purchased a property of 3 crore rupee and you are a non-filer, therefore we are invoking this provision. So that is not sufficient for invoking beyond 3 years and 3 months. He must have document. Document should be, he should call from whom? Registrar, that you give me this document. Based on that he can take a call. Same way, there is an information of cash deposit. But that information per se does not become evidence. It becomes an evidence only when AO will cross-verify with the banker. Suppose I am not responding 148A, so AO does not have any information about cash deposit because I am not submitting bank statement. But AO can call for from this bank statement from whom? Directly from the bank. And after verification, it becomes what? Evidence. You got the point difference? So he should be in possession of documents, accounts or evidence. And these documents, accounts or evidence is related to what? He has to establish any one of 4 or one or more of the 4. Either it is related to asset or related to expenditure, related to transaction or related to entries. And these expenditure, entry, asset, transaction which show that income chargeable to tax which had escaped assessment amounts to or likely to amounts to 50 lakh rupee or more. Now again, this is going to be a very grey area of dispute. Many of the cases it is found that search takes place at X place. Of course, search cases are not covered here, but I am just giving an example to make you understand this point. In the search, entire tally ledger is found and name, phone number, address, everything is found and it is unsecured loan. Full detail is there of last 5 years. And if you make total of last 5 years, then also practically, total in the sense, every year in the tally at the year end, there is a total comes. Now you have borrowed practically 30 lakh rupee, but again opening balance, closing balance, opening balance, closing balance. Then total of transaction looks to you have given, again repaid, given, repaid. The total is not exceeding what? Practically 30 lakh. But if you make tally total, it becomes 1 crore. And they are taking case beyond 3 years and 3 months. Are you getting? This is the tragedy. Now I have borrowed 5 lakh rupee from you. That means 5 lakh rupees is your unaccounted income. After 3 months, I have given back 5 lakh rupee to you. Again, you have given me 7 lakh rupee. And again, I have given back to you 7 lakh rupee. Then again, you have given me 10 lakh rupee. Again, I have given back to you 10 lakh rupee. Now, this is the transaction. And at the end, highest amount I have given to you is 20 lakh rupee. But total, if you make it 5 plus 7 plus 10 plus 20, it is exceeding what? 50. Now, law says only transaction word is not written. Transaction followed by what? Which show, what the word is? Which show that income chargeable tax, which has escaped assessment, should exceed. Now, in this case, income which has escaped assessment is only 20 lakh. Are you getting what I am trying to say? Now, these are going to be a very grey area before the court, particularly jurisdiction matter. Very interestingly, if you read this law as compared to the erstwhile law, in erstwhile law, what it says, this 50 lakh limit is in aggregate, beyond 3 years up to 7 years, in aggregate I have to say 50 lakh rupee. Now, in this law, this 50 lakh rupees year wise limit. That means, દર વર્ષે તમે 50 લાખનું ખોટું કરી શકો. Provided you safely move beyond 3 years. Recording કરી રહ્યા છો? I should not speak like this. Then how? Point is, up to 3 years and 3 months and beyond 3 years and 3 months, 50 lakh is an individual limit. Again, they have not written the word here, aggregate, like subsection 1A under section 149 in erstwhile law. Clear? So, I think flow is clear, time limit is clear to all of you, how it goes. What is 135A? 135A is nothing but a, we can say, processing of information by the department. Many times you find that they send you information, verify it is correct or not. AIS, TIS difference is this kind of notices you are getting it. Additionally, we are getting notices under section 133(6). I request all these notices shall be responded with due care, because based on that there is an automatic processing, and under 135A that information will be flashing on the PAN of your client. And if it flashes, then 148 capital A is not required. Straight away you will receive which notice? Directly which notice? 148. You got my point. Like one of the client at Unza, actually he is my friend, I am not in compliance. At Unza, he received 133(6) that we found you have made a fixed deposit of 560 crore. So what is the source? You explain. Now actually he is subscribing to IPO and therefore he is taking finance, and for a time being he was making FD, but for the year, entire year it become how much? 560 CR. Now if you do not respond this properly, your case will be picked up under 135A. You got my point. The moment 135A will come into picture, direct 148 will be given to you, direct. No need to give you 148 capital A. Therefore, 133(6) notice should be added properly. Don't take it lightly, 133(6) notice. And this kind of notices I have said, ascertain whether there is a mismatch in the information or not. So I think clear? There is a difference between proceeding under information other than 135A and 135A. Let us take it one practical. This is the response to a 148AB. I will show you the notice. This is the 148AB notice in erstwhile law, and he said that information is attached herewith, and for that we are interested to give you so cause under 148, and then they have given information. This is the information they were given. Information start with para 2. Third matha vagar information. It starts with what? Para 2. And they said that some details we have received from CGST. An issue is regarding evasion of CGST liability by obtaining fake invoice of purchase in your case. And you have purchased from fourth line, Rajni Enterprise, but you have received only invoice to avail ITC with a view to reduce your GST liability, output GST liability. Clear? And very interestingly, they themselves are writing in this information. Read it. After receipt of information, Income Tax Department issued love letter or reminder to Deputy Commissioner CGST, requesting to share full information, documents, statement recorded, bank statements. So Income Tax requested to whom? CGST, and they themselves are writing, last line is very important, but required details were not received by us. And then they started analyzing my profile. You see, they have got 360-degree verification profile. You can see this kind of format is there. Then my financial returns filed for last 5 years. What are the plus and minus? You can see GP, turnover, how much tax I have paid. In that, if you see, my case is for AY 18-19. My taxable income reported is 1 crore 17 lakh. How much? 1 crore 17 lakh, and I have paid tax. You can see gross tax payable 35 lakh. Clear? 35.28 lakh. Now, despite he is writing, what he is mentioning? Read. Even 1920 also. What is my income? 1920. Okay, barabar. Assessment year 1920. My profit is 1.17 crore. Still, what is writing? Read. SSC filed the return for AY 1920, declaring loss of how much? He himself is printing surplus, tax paid, gross tax payable, and still is mentioning I have declared loss. So he has an predetermined mind that I have declared a loss and I have purchased from whom? Rajni Enterprise, and information received from whom? CGST. Therefore, it is a case of what? Bogus purchase. By debiting bogus purchase, loss has been claimed. You got the point? This is the scenario. And there are lots of then Naresh by Rajni Enterprise profile has also been looked into it, and in that he writes no return has been filed by him, despite his turnover is how much? 25 crore. The supplier turnover is 25 crore and he had not filed the return. Now this love letter you received it, even investigation took place, we filed reply during investigation. These are also on record that he had mentioned, and at the end he write conclusion that I have purchased 1 crore 58 lakh from Rajni Enterprise without actual receipt of goods, and I have paid 10 lakh rupee to GST department when they came at my place as a 10 lakh just we can say deposit for reversal of ITC if it is later on deducted. Under protest, I have paid 10 lakh, that he had mentioned, and therefore he said that case shall be reopened to verify nature of purchase and to verify source of this 10 lakh. So this is the information. Now see the reply file from our office, and then I will not take your time because we need to see now next faculty also. See this reply. How to respond, because what is found is our CA fraternity is very kind at heart. Very kind at heart. Ideally, what you should do it? Ideally, you should ask that under which limb this information falls. You got my point? Then you ask, if it is under risk management strategy, you provide me the copy of what? Risk management strategy. You got the point? That is the ideal way to respond it. And then you should attack on what? Information. So that is the way of looking at the matter. Here in that case, at that time, there was a prior approval for even 148AB. That's why I mentioned that kindly provide the, first I have mentioned you failed to specify under which limb my information falls. Therefore, present notice is bad in law. That you should argue it. then under which limb this notice you are giving it. Out of 6 clauses, it should fall in at least one of the clauses. He is not mentioning. So you should first attack on this. Then you should ask for a approval. Whenever he seek approval, he must have to send proposal. So you should ask a copy of proposal as well. So you ask for a copy of proposal, you should ask for a copy of approval, and then you start your reply that without prejudice to above and with a view to cooperate the proceedings, your assessee firm would like to submit as under. Now what you should demand? All underlying documents. That's why you see, I have written that kindly provide documentary evidence to establish that I have undertaken transaction for Aksa trading. Which trading? Aksa trading, because he had taken up 2 matters. Aksa trading we have not purchased. So I have said you give me the documents because I am not aware of Aksa trading transaction. Now Rajni Enterprise, read the reply, how to draft the reply. What I have done, entire information I have broken into various small information. And every paragraph I have made it that this is your observation and this is our submission. You got the point. Now first observation is, he said that you have not received material, but you have received only invoice to avail ITC. Then your reply should be, you first give me the report of CGST. Because they said this information is based on report of CGST. So you should call for a report of CGST. And you should deny immediately that our purchase is genuine. Therefore, this observation of CGST as well as your observation is far from truth. Clear? Next. Next observation is that they have yet to receive detailed report from CGST. So I have written above observation is self-explanatory because you have not received report. That's why now read what we have written. CGST has not shared the report. Then how you are taking action under income tax? They themselves have not concluded their inquiry. Then how can you say in income tax that there is a bogus purchase? That's why what the reply I have written, read. Above observation self-explanatory. Above observation clearly established that CGST has not concluded its inquiry and therefore not sharing full details as requested by the Income Tax Department. It is respectfully submitted that present notice under 148A is premature, given the report issued by CGST has not yet achieved finality in terms of investigation. It is noted that said report can only be considered in the capacity of a whistleblower and the ultimate outcome will be contingent upon the subsequent action taken by CGST department. In the light of foregoing, it is imperative to refrain from undertaking any action or decision concerning total income of my company until investigation by CGST get completed. So till CGST will finish the investigation, you should not take action on me. This is what the submission we have made it. Though they are not listening, their style. Then they have written loss is declared 1.17 crore. So we have declared profit and total tax we have paid of 41.10 lakh rupee. Then one more observation is very interesting, that Naresh Bhai, that is my supplier, he had shown a turnover of 25 crore, but he had not filed his return. If Naresh Bhai does not file return, then who should be caught? Who should be caught? Naresh Bhai should be caught. So that you should write. What you understand, that you should write. But that our problem is, moment we receive this notice, we look at our client says, yes, there is something wrong with this purchase. And you feel disturbed and tense, and you start cooperating with the Income Tax Department. But you first challenge their basic information, that on what basis they are taking action. Are you getting what I am trying to say? Don't become submissive. Be clear what the rights available under the law. Rights available under the law is to inquire which clause is applicable, to ask for a copy of risk management strategy, to ask for the relevant approval wherever it is applicable. You got my point. And you have a right to rebut all these observations. So I have written that non-filing of return by Rajni Enterprise may lead to adverse consequences, but under no circumstances, non-filing would lead to the inference that my purchase is bogus. It is without actual delivery. One more observation is there, that you have not supported investigation. He himself had shown in the body of information that we have replied to investigation team. So that information is also far from truth. And last, they said you have paid 10 lakh rupee to GST when they came at your premise. But that 10 lakh were paid under protest. But they said you have paid 10 lakh, that means you admitted it is which purchase? Bogus purchase. So read our submission. Partner never accepted before CGST that firm received only invoice and not received physical goods from resident enterprise. This observation is far from truth. Kindly provide the copy of statement before CGST for rebuttal, because CGST has not given my statement to me. So you should provide it now. And payment of 10 lakh is made under protest because SSC firm is having sound, well-established business and falls in the category of few of the taxpayer who declare more than 1 crore taxable income in India. It is for the smooth functioning of business operation, and with a view to cooperate CGST department, we have paid 10 lakh rupee. It is pertinent to note here that payment under protest can never establish that my purchase is bogus. It is reiterated the entire report of income tax department is biased, erroneous, premature, because matter of resident enterprise has not attained finality before the CGST department. I think clear? And then conclusion that you should drop this proceeding. Actually, this is 1.5 hour session, but we cannot do it. Next panelists are available. I'll take 5 minutes. The 148A, you got the point. We'll take up this matter later on, that how flow will go and how to respond it. But the idea is, don't feel frightened because your client had made a bogus purchase. First of all, you see their limitation, department limitation. On that, you should attack it. And this will continue till assessment get completed. They will not be able to give you CGST report. This is a fact. Clear? Now, I'll take 5 minutes more, which you may perhaps love to understand, including the panelist. Now, we are going to deal with some 5 factors which are very important. The objective is slightly to guide you or to bring you out of stress, because we carry lots of stress towards success since childhood. And that's why we need to understand that how success, which factors are relevant for attaining success. If you understand this, you will be more relieved, and it will not take more than 5 minutes. I request you to be seated, those who are trying to evacuate or relieve yourself, but I request for 5 minutes. See the first. This is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 18, slok number 14, where Lord Krishna says, Adhisthanam tatha karta, karanam cha putakvidam, viddascha putak chesta, daivam chaivatra panchamamam. This is wonderful slok where Lord Krishna gives an idea about 5 factors which will contribute success, and without that work cannot be completed. Look at those are very interesting factors. First is adhisthanam, that is place of action. Always, therefore, we have a system. Whenever we buy a property or even rent a property, we see the place. Lord himself recognizes that place of action is very, very important. If you want success, then place of action, karma ka sthan, it has got a tremendous importance. Second factor, Lord says, you are very, very important, karta. Karta himself is very, very important. Third factor, karanam. Karanam means your senses. Your senses. Like, let us take it that you are very intelligent, you are very powerful, very intelligent lawyer. Now you are arguing, and at that time, your 6th sense is called mind. Lord says there are 6 senses. 6 senses what? Mind. Apart from 5 senses, there is a 6th sense. In chapter 15.7, Lord says, Manasasthani indriyani. Sasthani means 6. Man is the 6th indriya. Now, during argument, you are not able to recollect that argument. That means your indriya has not supported you during your efforts. Then you will not get success. Therefore, place is important. You are important. Your indriya important. Like sometimes there is a final match of cricket and now you are hurt. then how do you play? You are an opening batsman. So Indriya is not supporting. That may happen. So this is third factor. Fourth factor, Lord recognizes chesta. Vividha, you see the word vidascha, pruthak chesta. Different kinds of your efforts, endeavors. Therefore, come out of that impression that you are not supposed to do endeavor, you have to do endeavor. Sometimes there is a misunderstanding that if I am at the Lord's mercy, why should I do endeavor? But endeavor, Lord himself says, endeavor is very, very important. Now, fifth factor, can you tell me? Anybody has an idea about Bhagavad Gita? Fifth factor is very interesting, and that is Daivam. The four factors we can control it, but fifth is not in our hand. Therefore, if you really would like to understand true meaning of Bhagavad Gita, more particularly, karmanyavadhikarastesu ma phalesu kadachana. Lord says you are having right to engage in work, but you do not have right over fruits. Why? Because I am the one who sanctions that fruit. I am the fifth factor. I'll look at the rules of karma, laws of karma, and then I'll sanction the fruit, appropriate fruit. And that's why we have got three types of fruit. One is the best of best, success. One of the, we can say, partial success, and one of the failure. This kind of three kind of fruits we find it. So Daivam is very important. So if you understand this Bhagavad Gita, then you will be stress free, because four things are in your hand. And I am as such, I am giving up my COP and practicing as a lawyer very soon. So in lawyer, what happens? Even you go to doctor, what doctor says? I did my best effort. Then, pachi operation, pachi je tha hai. I hope you are getting. That is what we recognize this directly, indirectly. At any country, even forget it. Every contract we write force measure. Are you writing or not? Force measure. Why? Because we do not know. This is something beyond control. If you accept this fact that there is something beyond control, and if you surrender to that beyond control, you will be free from all tension and anxiety. This is the formula of success. So I recommend, I have kept one stool where we have got various books, Science of Self-Realization, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, other various books you may find it. While returning to home, you may select it as per your choice. And those who are more interested, they can approach us on Sunday at Bhadaj Temple, Hare Krishna Mandir. Okay. With this, I'll end my session. Thank you for all time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I request to take up session faster because you have got. Also, I'll take leave because I got next session. The panelist, I'll not be in a position to attend and
no problem,
understand
sir.
your views.
And thank you very much for taking your time out and coming on this Saturday evening, Saturday noon. And thank you all the audience.